Shabbat Shalom. Are you all ready for what's coming? We're ready. I wanted to tell you a story this morning before I launch into the Torah. I was in an argument the other night with my significant other. And while we were arguing, I could feel in the back of my head the truth that I absolutely didn't want to admit to. You ever had that experience? Where you're like in a fight and you're just like, I know you want me to say this and I don't want to say this thing. And we were going back and forth and it was getting longer and longer. And I could tell it was about to crest into the conflict that was gonna end badly. And then I finally was like, okay, I'll admit it. And I said the thing. And it diffused the situation. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. What is going on that makes me, maybe all of us, get into these situations where we can feel the truth, but we don't want to say it? What gets in the way of us admitting what's really going on? There is a verse in the book of Job that asks a question, a really profound question. It says, where do we find wisdom? And I was thinking about this, also connected to this week's Parsha, because I think that search for wisdom is part of what's going on in these small moments when we're in conflict with ourselves. What is the wise thing to do right now? Sometimes I think in New Age circles, we call this wise mind. What does my wise mind want me to do? Because the ego is just like, win, 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 win at any cost. Don't be honest, don't be vulnerable. But there is a part of us that knows what's really going on. And when Job asked this question, a later midrash connects his question, where do we find wisdom, to a claim that today's Parsha makes. Today's Parsha talks about this pretty powerful idea that ha-mitzvah hazot, and we're going to spend some time figuring out what that means, this mitzvah, lo bashamayim hi, it's not in the heavens. And it's also lo me'ever hayam, it's not over the sea. It's not in these faraway places. No, this mitzvah, whatever it is very close. It's so near to you. You don't have to go far away in order to find it. So there's two ideas of what this mitzvah is. The well-known version of this is that the mitzvah is the Torah. It might be just the book of Deuteronomy or the whole Torah in its entirety, but possibly what this verse in our Parsha is saying is the Torah is not far away from you. And we can play that out for a second. There are times when there are teachings in the Torah that connect to some of our intuitive sense of righteousness. There are also times in the Torah when it is totally at odds with our intuitive sense of what's right. There are moments when we read our text and cannot relate to the morality within its context. And so that claim that this mitzvah is not far away from you, at moments it might be relatable, and at other moments it might not. So there's another teaching about what this mitzvah is, and it comes up first from Ramban, a medieval commentator, who points out that the mitzvah is actually a very particular mitzvah. And it comes up some verses earlier in our chapter when we are told that you are going to return to your Lord. You are going to shuv or vishavta. And that is the root of Teshuva, of return. Now, we talk a lot in the month of Elul leading up to Rosh Hashanah about Teshuva, about this act of return. But it's actually something that we're supposed to be doing all the time. This process of missing the mark and coming back to wisdom, to wise mind, to truth, that is the process of being human. Because we don't actually have an idea in our tradition that we're born bad. We have an idea, a very powerful idea, that we're born perfect. And life is hard. And so inevitably, our goodness is challenged again and again and again. And life becomes a process of again and again rectifying those small mistakes that we make all along the way. So when our Parsha claims that this mitzvah of Teshuvah, of return, is not far away from you, it's not up in the heavens, it's not over the sea, it's not something anybody else can or must do for you, that is actually a really powerful frame for us as we enter this season of the high holidays, a season where we take ourselves, our lives, our attempts to live good lives very seriously. And in that internal process of reflection, I wanted you to carry with you this idea that righteousness, that good choices, that wisdom and morality are not far away. That they're actually that voice within you that knows the right thing to do, and yet that our ego, for probably very good reasons, resists. That we fight back against our wise selves all the time is no surprise. I think it's a core part of being human. And what our Torah today offers us in this teaching is that that process of being in search of that wise self is the work of Teshuva. Teshuva is not some big epic process that you undergo once a year. It's those quiet moments every day, every conflict, every moment where you can feel that there is something going on that you really would rather avoid, but is actually inviting you into a deeper, truer relationship with yourself. That is Teshuva. I hope that none of you have any interpersonal conflict in the days ahead. May we all have a new year that is sweet and delicious and perfect. And in those moments when conflict arises, I hope that you can remember that we actually have the tools to do better. And that is the point of being human. That is what the Torah wants from us, is to listen to our wisest selves. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Hope that teaching sticks with us this season. From me too.